This is one of Japan's most iconic roller coasters, stretching almost 300 feet into Tokyo Bay. The ride is called Surf Coaster Leviathan and operates at Sea Paradise near Yokohama. It's a Togo super coaster, one of only 4 ever built. It's currently one of only 2 operating, the other one being Bandit at Yomiuriland, also near Tokyo. It opened in 1993 alongside Sea Paradise, standing 144 feet in the air, over 4,000 feet of track, but only a top speed of 47 miles per hour. The ride may look huge, but don't be deceived, this is absolutely a family thrill coaster. It is the only roller coaster still operating at Sea Paradise, and is very much designed to be an attraction that just about anyone could enjoy. The drops aren't too big, the forces are very manageable, and it rides extremely smooth. For a ride that's well over 30 years old, that is extremely impressive. Togo really was a leader in roller coaster manufacturing back in the day. It's a shame that they have such a poor reputation here in the US because the only one we still have left operating is the Big Apple coaster. And that might be the worst Togo ever built. Let it be known though, if you ever make it out to Japan, the Togo coasters here are actually pretty fun and well maintained. The staff here at Sea Paradise were amazing. I rode it for my first time in the summer of 2024. I got 6 rides in on it, so let's dive into the details of what riders will experience on Surf Coaster Leviathan. And first and foremost, it's important to acknowledge that Sea Paradise is a free-to-enter park. Think of it like a nature park that just happens to have a couple rides. They're primarily actually known for their aquarium. Surf Coaster Leviathan, though, stands out. From the train, you can see it from miles away. It is very impressive. So it should be no surprise that a lot of people, when they arrive, go here first. I've heard it can get a decent line, and that's with it being pay per ride. So as you're planning your trip to Sea Paradise, plan out in advance how many rides you ideally want to get on this attraction, and that'll help you decide if you should get the one ticket or an all-inclusive wristband. Should you choose the wristband that is just inclusive of the rides, at the moment that'll run you about $22 US, or if you want to do the rides plus animals, that's about $40 US. Now, before riding Surf Coaster Leviathan, all loose items will need to be stored in these small lockers on the one side of the station. You'll just pick them up at the end of your experience. When boarding your train, you'll buckle your seatbelt first and then pull down this big bulky lap bar. It's a very strange design, but not in an uncomfortable way. It's just heavily padded, which actually comes quite in handy towards the end with the abrupt brake run. To be honest, that's probably what it's there for. From your station, it's going to be a nice steady ascent up 144 feet. Most of that will be out over the water. The views are sensational, especially on a clear day. You can see everything. It's amazing. And the fact that they built this tall of a ride literally out over the water, I mean, take a look at the size of these footers. This thing is no joke, and they get some serious wind in this area. You gotta think, Japan is known for its typhoons. This ride is built to withstand the wrath of Mother Nature. And I think that's partially why I was so impressed it ran so well. It was a very windy day when we went, but you know what? The ride stayed open. At the top, you'll take a scenic 180-degree turn and descend down a mild first drop. Where most first drops take you pretty close to the ground, Surf Coaster Leviathan doesn't even get you halfway. I think it's more about longevity. This ride is so huge, it's designed to just keep that momentum going, so anytime it starts to slow down, they can just keep dropping you lower and lower till eventually you run out of steam. So it's a very tame, gradual first drop. Even from the back row, you don't really get any airtime. But I tell you what, if you're in the front, that first camelback gives some great floater air. It's that moment that is one of the reasons why I actually recommend the front row over the back row. This was never designed to be an airtime focused coaster. I would actually say it's way more about the impressive helices coming up. And I just think with the wind in your face, the best experience is from the front row. This camelback will send you rising up into a section of straight track as you then plunge into a 900-degree helix. That is 3 full rotations around, gradually building up more and more speed. And it's decently forceful. While I personally didn't gray out, some members in our group did. And it really was one of those moments where you're like, wow, we're still going. They took that element that is usually thrown in at the end of a layout to just extend the ride time and said, what if we make that the main point of the ride? So here we are. Get used to those long drawn out turns because there's many more ahead. As you exit heading back towards the water, you're going to go over 2 hills, the first of which is this awkward like sideways banked hill that gives you a fun moment of laterals but just feels kind of random. The second hill gives you a little bit of airtime as you drop down now into an upwards helix that is fully out over the water. And I like how this one, you're turning to the right versus the previous, you are turning to the left. So it just adds a little bit of variation, different sensation. And this is a 540-degree helix, so it essentially goes around 1.5 times. Now, sending you back towards the land with another drop. Again, not necessarily airtime focused, but it is very graceful. Even a ride like Fujiyama, which is another Togo coaster, can have some pretty abrupt moments, and Surf Coaster Leviathan doesn't feel that way at all. The closest you get is this little bunny hill right here, where you get a sharp little pop lifting up out of your seat. Maybe the best airtime moment on the ride. And then we got, surprise, one more helix. This one again traveling in the downwards direction, turning to the left, really threading through the supports here. There's a decent amount of near misses on Surf Coaster Leviathan. We got a nice drawn out straight section because the designers couldn't think of anything to put here. Another little dip, turn to the right, over the water one last time, and then a final drop just narrowly missing the track above you, probably the best near miss on the ride, and then you slam to a stop. Don't get me wrong, the brakes definitely hit at first, but it's that final thud afterwards that gets you. Brace yourself, you will lurch forward. So that is the ride experience of Surf Coaster Leviathan. By no means a mind-blowing ride, though maybe back when it first opened it was. For me, the size and length was the most impressive thing about it, along with the location. So I'm certainly glad that I got to experience it while in Japan, though I would not say it was one of my favorites of the trip. Actually, when I did a big Japan tour in 2019, I completely bypassed Sea Paradise just because Surf Coaster was lower priority. So there are other places that I would recommend going to before I would say come to Sea Paradise. But as a roller coaster fan, of course, this is the main reason to come here. And in many ways, the ride was better than I expected. It grew on me. The more I rode it, the more I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. Though I could see how someone could go into this ride experience being a little let down when you see the track length and the 144-foot height. It's easy to think that this is a thrill coaster, and that's why I emphasize that this is family thrill, 100%. And I think if you come to terms with that, you actually have a good time. So for Surf Coaster Leviathan's final score, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. It's a very solid experience. I put it on the upper tier of Togo coasters that I have done, and while it may not be a roller coaster that I'm going to be running back to experience anytime soon, I would recommend it if you find that you have time in the Tokyo area and you're looking for a pretty unique experience. So let me know down in the comments below if you've been out to Sea Paradise to experience Surf Coaster Leviathan, if you agree with the points that I brought up, and if you think there's anything I missed, be sure to post that down below, and stay tuned for more reviews here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.